Let me put on my gloves because there's literally 0 degrees here. I'm still alive. Can someone tell me if you guys can hear me or not? I have my mic set up here. Hopefully it's okay. Say hello Ukraine. Great guys. So welcome everyone. I'm on Krashatik right now here in Kiev, Ukraine. This is the capital city of Ukraine. As some of you guys know, I live here. I've been living here for exactly a year now. I moved here March 1st, so last winter, and it's winter today. Yeah, it's live. So hello to Iki, Yemez, Mike, Kas, hello from Bangkok. This is Kiev, this is the capital. I'm glad that it sounds okay. Yeah. Hello guys. Wow, there's a lot of you guys. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I know there was like 500 people waiting just to get in. So I'm glad that everything worked out. So I just want to give you guys kind of like a live update on what is actually happening here in Ukraine. You can see it's cold, but people are still outside. It's Saturday afternoon. This is Krashatik. This is basically the busiest street in all of Ukraine, at least in Kiev. And I've had a lot of conversations recently with local friends, but also my expat friends, as well as some of them who actually work for the various embassies here in Ukraine. And I found out a lot about the evacuations, people leaving, as well as what the locals think. So it is a bit skewed because I am English speaking, so I mostly watch, I try not to watch the American or Western news, but it's literally been unavoidable. It's been popping up everywhere. And as you guys have seen, I'm sure, it sounds like it's insane right now, right? Like it seems like everything is like it's World War III starting today. But the truth is, it's not, obviously there's no war right now. It's perfectly safe to be here. But at the same time, there's always a chance. If I was going to personally predict, I calculated less than a 5% chance of it actually happening here in Kiev. So that's why I stayed. But when people say, oh, I'm thinking about going there next week for vacation, I'm like, no, don't come right now. There's no reason to. There's no reason to risk coming unless you have a reason to come. For me, I have my house here, I have my friends here. Mainly, honestly, it's the property. If I didn't have property here, if I didn't invest, over $250,000 in these 2 properties, I wouldn't be here right now. There's other places to be, right? So I would not recommend coming here as a tourist right now, just in case, right? Even if it's only a 5% chance, it's still a 5% chance being here of something bad happening. And I think it'll be possible to get out. I don't think it's going to be super easy, right? Because if everyone leaves at the same time, right now there's not much traffic, but imagine 4 million people trying to get to the borders, try to get to to Europe at the same time. It's not going to be easy, right? The airports will probably get shut down. The trains will probably either be full or stop working. They're probably full now, to be honest, with people just leaving kind of out of panic, right? Hello from the UK. Hello, guys. Actually, I'm curious. Wow, we have almost 1,000 people here now. So thank you guys all for joining. I'm actually curious. Where's everyone from? Like, is anyone actually from Ukraine or Russia? I'm assuming a lot of people are from, we have someone from Lviv, UK, Finland, more UK. A lot of British people, Poland, New York, SF, Arizona, no, you're not from North Korea. Come on, man, stop messing around. Yeah, so we have people from, really kind of all over the world. So let me flip the camera, actually. I'm about to take off this warm glove to do so. I'm gonna show you guys around a little bit the main street. I'm gonna walk with you guys to Maidan, Independence Square. This is where the revolution happened 6, 7 years ago now. This is basically their Independence Square. And this is where they had basically a civil war. I mean, it was basically, you know, the Russian speakers versus the Ukrainian speakers, and they want to be more pro-Russian or pro-EU. And as you can see, even though it's cold, people are still out. I mean, it's like life goes on like pretty normally. But I'll tell you about a few conversations I had with local Ukrainians. The very first thing they ask is, what is going on? My friend sent me, or I was in this English chat, or I was at my English speaking club or my English school, and somebody sent me the news, and we were like, oh my God, what is happening? The locals aren't getting that same news. If you watch Ukrainian news, it's downplayed. It's saying, it's not as big of a deal as the Western news. It's like, yeah, Russia's at it again. They're building up troops, we're preparing. In Russia, from what I've heard and seen, they don't even mention the Ukrainian war or conflict until, the fourth topic of the night, so like an hour in sometimes, right? So they're definitely downplaying it in both Russia and Ukraine. One of the questions a lot of people had was, why does Western media prop it up so much? Why is it front and center in the US news? I'm sure in the UK, I'm sure, pretty much from everywhere you guys are from, or you wouldn't have even known or cared about what's happening in Ukraine. My mom literally was freaking out. Her friends are, calling her saying, get your son out of here. So I believe that the US is diverting attention from what's actually happening in the US. People are so tired of talking about COVID. People are tired, our economy's doing really bad, and they need someone to blame. Now they can't blame the Middle East because we left Afghanistan, so now they have to blame someone, so they blame Russia. No, social, I'm not a spy, though I would be, I would either be the best or the worst spy in the world if I was. I'll let you know that. Howdy from Texas. And yeah, you can't blame Trump now either, right? So they need someone and something to blame, and Russia is a very good enemy. Now, why did they come to the border? I believe it's to flex, because it was just in time. This started months ago. You guys gotta remember that. It was in time for the Geneva Convention, and they wanted UN to stop expanding. They wanted, NATO to stop expanding. And now they're in a predicament where they're like, well, if we want this is kind of like our last chance, because Russia doesn't have as much power as they used to, and this is kind of their stage, so they have to make it look real. So a few years ago, when they moved troops, the US intelligence realized they were bluffing, that they weren't serious, because they didn't actually bring enough supplies. They didn't bring any medical. So if there was a war, they wouldn't have been prepared. So this time, Russia really said, you know what, whether we're bluffing or not, we have to make it look 100% real. And that's why they're prepared for this full-scale war, whether they actually want to do it or not. My biggest fear, to be honest, is that Russia and Putin originally didn't want to have any war. They were just bluffing and showing their power. But with the West getting involved and the US getting involved, they might be put in a position where they might just do it anyways, or somehow, someone throws the first punch or makes the first move and they have to react. That's my biggest fear, to be honest. I think if everyone had just ignored it, if it wasn't in the US news, if we didn't respond the way we did, it probably would have just kind of fizzled out and dissipated. But I think now it's in a position where it's like, you know, two alpha males in a bar fight over, you know, something, right? And now maybe ego. And if someone throws a punch, the other person has to react. And that's what I'm scared about the most. Wow. Alex Guy, thank you so much for that donation. I will use that for my dinner tonight. And also D as well. I think there's two of them for $5. Wow. Dan N. I'm gonna get a coffee. Thank you from Ohio. I didn't even know that this existed. These, I think they're called, I don't know if they're called super chats or support the channel. But if you guys have any questions and you want to make sure it doesn't get missed, feel free to put it there and I'll make sure I read it as well. Love you, Johnny. Stay safe. Thank you, Alex Sky. Appreciate it. So it's like it's a tough situation, guys. Like, on one hand, nobody actually knows what's happening. Like, literally. So I'll tell you about who actually left and who stayed, right? At first I was pretty content knowing that my close friends, my circle of friends, and that nobody fled. But then I heard a few people, acquaintances, or friends of friends, people that I know in person but I'm not super close with, that they left. One guy left he was living here, so he left. He abandoned his apartment and all his things. He actually left his stuff. Paul, Dorby DN John, thank you so much, Paul Harmond. Who else do we have? Dominic Viley, appreciate you from Stockton. Stockton represent. Yeah, Paul again. Calax Yukon, I'm assuming that's from Canada, yep. Hey, thanks for these great videos, love from Canada. Thank you so much for 10 Canadian, which is I'm assuming is worth $1.20. No, it's not that bad, right? And Alex again, thank you so much, guys. So he left, and he literally panic left, and he left all his stuff. He literally left his apartment with thousands of dollars worth of things, and he got on basically the first flight. I think he went to, you know, he basically just popped anywhere. He was like, I'm gonna get out of here. And that worried me a bit. So I was like, oh man, someone I personally know, even though he's not a close friend, left. And he told me that 4 of his friends also left. And I thought, wow, that's pretty crazy. Like that was wild. All right. Pepperoni Pete, you're the real deal. Thank you so much, Pepperoni Pete. I wish I had a pepperoni pizza right now. Arte Suave Angelino, thank you so much. God bless you as well. Man, this is cool. I need to do these live streams more often, guys. So they left. And then what really shocked me is a girl I know who actually works for the US Embassy left as well. And I know that the family members were asked to leave, but my understanding from talking to other workers of the embassy was that it's hard to evacuate family, pets, children, so they want them to go now on commercial flights. And I thought, you know what? That is prudent, that makes sense, all right? But the actual staff remained. So I know 2 guys pretty well, good friends, that both are diplomats that work for the US Embassy, and they're both still here, and they're gonna stay, all right? But when she left, I was kind of surprised. I mean, she has a dog, so I was like, maybe that's how she got out. But at the same time, I was shocked. Oh wow, $20 from G Peroni. Wow, thank you so much. You didn't even leave a message, so thank you so much, G. I really appreciate that. So officially, the U.S. Embassy is still working. All the essential staff was to remain. But if you if you have family, if you have pets, they need to go home on commercial flights. And I guess in most circumstances, if you put in a request and you say, I need to go because of, whatever reason, X, Y, Z, then you can go. And she left. And that honestly panicked me. But then I thought about it for, a good 2 hours. I really was thinking about it. I was like, am I being silly for staying? Am I judging this wrong? And I asked myself, would I trust their advice in other aspects of my life? If they were going to give me life advice or financial advice or relationship advice, like, would I actually even listen to these two people and their 4 friends? And I said no. And I realized if I wouldn't listen to their advice, if I didn't trust them enough to listen to their advice for other things, why would I panic and leave my home because they panic flew, or they panic left? Oh, thank you for a kvass. It's $5 Is that rubles? Got loaned to me Antunes. But thank you for the kvass. Aussie dollars, I think that's what it is. Big ups from Australia. Love the regular content, appreciate it. So even though I personally now know a few people who evacuated, right? And evacuated is not the word because they went on commercial flights. I'm staying. But I did tell my friends. I said to my 2 friends working at the embassy and also my good buddy Frank, who I trust him and I trust his advice. I said, and here's a funny story, is he called me in a panic saying, Johnny, I packed my bags. I'm heading to the airport. And I was like, really? And I was shocked because I was like, oh my God, I did not expect it from him. And then he told me he was kidding. And I was like, oh God, don't joke about that. But if he actually left, then I would put a lot more weight on that. I would really consider then actually leaving. If he left, and also if the actual embassy workers, like the essential workers left, then I would actually consider it more. Wow, I just got some Huff. Is that Australian? No, that's Hungarian dollars. Thank you for that, appreciate it. Let me flip this camera because I'm very close now to Kashadik. I've been on Kashadik, but I'm very close to like the main area. So I want to show you, life is literally still happening. I mean, this is really the most popular district, so it's always packed. But you can see people are performing still. Like, I'm sure people are thinking about it, but I mean, obviously people are still here. I mean, this is normal to see, don't worry guys. Am I gonna live stream during the attack? I hope I won't be here during the attack. If I am, I'll live stream it. Wow, we have 1,500 people. That's insane. All right, we got some euros coming in. Andre for some pierogi. I do like pierogi, thank you for that. Just to make a point, Russian propaganda machine is quiet now. Before Crimea, there was lots of info to justify the attack. That is a very good point. One thing that people don't really think about or realize is Russians love Ukrainians. I'm not necessarily talking about the government. I mean, everyone probably hates each other's government and their own governments. But I'm saying Russian people love Ukrainian people, and Ukrainian people love Russian people. They're family. They're basically the same. It's like Canadians and Americans, Like, we're different. Sure, like you might have little quarrels and differences here and there, but overall, like, we're the same people. And people have family on each side. Nobody in Russia is like, oh, fuck Ukrainians. Like, nobody's saying that. So for Russia or for Putin to attack, especially civilians, to hurt civilians, they would have to justify it, like, or there would be an uprising. I guarantee if they just randomly was like, let's just kill a bunch of civilians or destroy Ukraine, destroy Kiev, which is a place people love, then there would be an uprising against the current government and against Putin. So he can't do that. So if he was going to do something, he would have to have like a whole propaganda machine in the news for what, days, months ahead of time? Like it wouldn't be that easy. Like it would have to be months of propaganda before to somehow justify.
Are you Johnny?
Hello, I'm doing a live stream right now, so I can't talk, but how are you? Where are you from?
I'm good. I'm French.
Oh, you're French, oh nice.
I'm from Paris.
And I'm John. I'm the king of Kyiv.
Oh, are you from Kiev?
No, I'm American, but I moved here like 7 months ago.
Okay, well,
So now I just party here.
so people want to know,
Sure.
why haven't you guys evacuated? Why haven't you left? Are you not scared?
What do you mean about what?
About the Russia?
coming.
Yeah, yeah.
Not at all. Not scared at all.
We know people who know what's up and
So you're okay? You feel safe?
Yeah, absolutely.
very safe.
Yeah, no problem.
And
at all.
especially here. I mean, what the hell, right?
Yeah. Do you know anyone who's left?
I do like two guys.
Word?
Yeah. They were just expats from the expat
Okay.
meetups.
And they were
left.
they were freaked out, or?
Yeah, they're pussies.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Oh, sorry, I should say on the street.
That's okay. Don't worry.
Yeah.
All right.
There's no reason to be afraid. I think people should come here. People should.
Okay.
I mean, I think no.
Yeah.
What do you think? You've
I
seen
mean,
here?
I would say come here in the summer,
Definitely, it's cold.
It's a bit
but
cold. It's a bit
you know,
cold.
maybe not this week, all right?
It's what's happening this week.
You know, who knows, right?
Right.
That's the
It's
thing.
like last week, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Last
who
week it
knows?
was supposed to happen. 2 weeks ago it was
Yeah.
supposed to happen.
It gets pushed back.
People like, what do they have to get? You just do the fucking math actually. Like
Yeah.
how many men from 18 to 40 can fight? How many
Yeah.
salaries? You have
Yeah.
to look at the economy and everything. If you run the number, like there is no fucking chance they do anything.
Yeah, I think so too. Well,
There you
merci.
go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Au revoir, guys.
Take care. See ya.
All right, that was perfect, guys. Got to hear from some lads on the street. I mean, I don't know if I would trust their opinion like 100% either. Like, I wouldn't take their advice of coming right now. But obviously, they're still here. They're surviving, right? So it is kind of a weird time to be here. The paid actors, yeah, I would not pay those guys anything. NYDD, thank you for the tip. As well as G Primero. Wow, thank you so much. I think that was the second time you tipped. I really appreciate that. But yeah, so as I was talking about earlier, if Russia wanted to actually attack, especially Kiev, which people love. You guys don't understand how much the average Russian loves Kiev. It's like, I mean, you know, a lot of people were born under USSR or they watch movies. That's like attacking, like Canada attacking Times Square or attacking the Statue of Liberty. They just wouldn't do it. Like it would piss off so many people and it would like literally overthrow their own government. So if they were to attack Ukraine, it would most likely be in the Donbass region, which is basically, you know, kind of that Donetsk area that they they're there anyways. They want to finish what they tried to do in 2015. They want to secure like a water source. That is possible, but for them to come to Kiev is such a small chance. I will say I do know a couple local Ukrainians who have gone back to their hometowns or to Lviv, which is in western Ukraine, because there's almost zero chance the war would go there because it's so far away. And Western Ukraine is basically so close to, the EU and Poland and everything. So if you wanted to be really prudent and you were living here, why not go to Western Ukraine now? That would be a prudent move, right? And again, if I didn't have my apartment here, if I didn't have my property here, if I wasn't invested here, then I would go on vacation somewhere. And you know what? I might go on vacation anyways. Honestly, the biggest reason why I'm afraid to fly right now or leave the country it's actually because I'm afraid to come back. I'm afraid I can't get back. So if I go to Barcelona right now to visit Sam, like I was going to do, I'm so afraid I'll get stuck there and I can't get back. Or when I'm gone, I start hearing, the news, and then it sounds worse than it is, and I panic, and I'm like, oh man, I'm already in Barcelona. Maybe I should stay there. So that's the only thing only reason why I'm staying right now. All right. So guys, right ahead, we're going to be reaching Maidan, which is their main square, their independence square. This is where a lot of things happen. Ellie Waz, thank you for the €5. Appreciate it. Remember, today is a Saturday, guys. So this is why it's so busy. But normally, honestly, it's kind of this busy anyways. Ryan McDonald from the U.S. U.S. intel says there'll be propaganda campaigns to link Zelensky to the Kremlin, but didn't that already happen for his own election in Ukraine? So for those who don't know, that's the current president. And people loved him when he came out. But I would say majority of people really loved him when he got elected. But as with all presidents, a lot of people start disliking them, or they don't do, everything they promised, or they couldn't do everything they promised. So people are afraid that he's going to lose power. And I'll tell you right now, Russia wants a pro-Russian Ukrainian president, or pro-Russian government here in Ukraine. So they would do whatever they can to get that. Sebastian, can you do more regular live streams? My first in real life. This is awesome. Sebastian, I didn't know that people liked it. And I didn't know people can tip me, so thank you. Yeah, maybe I will do more of this. If you guys get worried because you see military uniforms, don't get worried. It's very common. Hello, how are you?
Where is Baldwin Bancroft?
Oh, it's confidential. I cannot say it.
Where is he?
I can't say. It's
Is he
confidential.
Ukraine or no?
He's not in Ukraine. I can say that.
Okay, tell him hi.
Yeah. Hello. Are you Ukrainian?
Yes, yes.
What do you guys? Where are you from?
Morocco.
Morocco.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna leave Ukraine? Are you worried?
No, not at all.
What are your thoughts? Are you scared of Russia attacking?
Long story.
Yeah. But do you know anyone who's like very scared that is leaving Kiev?
No, I'm not scared.
You're not scared? Okay. And you think most people feel not scared, or
But yes, of course.
they're scared?
Sure.
Okay. But are people leaving Kiev? Do you know people who are leaving Ukraine?
No.
No? Okay. That's good to hear that. All right, well,
To you.
thank you very much. Au revoir. So, wow, it's nice that I actually get recognized here because it's easier to talk to people. Honestly, it's kind of hard to like stop random people on the street with a camera, but this is perfect. So, Salati's cameras says from Lviv, but in Cleveland now. Love the live streams. Would love to hook you up. Thank you very much. If you're talking about with the camera, I would love that. I am using a mic now, guys, so I invested into a mic, so hopefully this sounds good. Because I think normally it would sound terrible without this mic, especially with the wind and the cold right now. Let me show you guys where we're at. 1,800 viewers. Oh my God, there's almost 2,000 people. So this right here is the end of Krishchanik, and we're gonna see Maidan right now. So this is where the revolution happened, guys. If you guys haven't seen the Netflix documentary, Winter on Fire, it is really good. It's very sad, but really, really good, really, really powerful. And this is where it all happened. And I actually stayed on the other side of the square in that very hotel while watching it. It's a very old Soviet hotel. It's actually honestly a terrible hotel, but it was crazy looking out my window and seeing what was happening. All right. So if you see the flags, those are actually protests for something else. It's actually for small businesses. They want to raise the tax for entrepreneurs from 5% to like 15 or 20, which is actually probably still not that bad, but that has nothing to do with what's happening right now. So I love Ukraine. And here is the main square, guys. There's no protest happening. There's just people kind of just walking around as normal. Like it's pretty crazy, guys. It's like you would think a lot more would be happening right now with both the locals in fear or leaving, or even just people talking about it or protesting things. But like really nothing is actually like happening on the ground. Air swing. Big Fat Johnny. Cheers from Austin. Cheers. Trika stayed at a Ukrainian hotel. It was lovely. I don't know if this would be considered lovely. It's actually a very old Soviet hotel. Actually, interesting story behind it. It was being built during USSR times, and it was going to be a really beautiful, fancy hotel with nice architecture, but they had to stop kind of 90% of the way through. So the very top you see there was never finished. And it was renamed, it used to be called Moscow Hotel, but obviously they renamed it. And it's been government owned for the last, 20 years or so, along with that hotel there and a lot of the big hotels. Ukraine is weird, Kiev is weird. Like if anyone's been here, housing is very expensive, especially for short term. So if you're a tourist and you're coming for 3 or less months, like a week, 2 weeks, a month, you're gonna spend a lot on housing. Like you're gonna spend over $100 on a decent hotel in the center. You're gonna spend $100 for an Airbnb, or at least like $70. And a lot of it's because these hotels are still owned by the government and they're not really maintaining it very well. They're not running it very well as a business. Mr. Early, thank you very much. He says, USA needs a skirmish with Russia to revitalize its economy because of this COVID scam and the warning. It's a mutual deal between Russia and the American elite. I don't think it's a mutual decision between Russia and the US, but I would definitely think that the US is taking advantage of this and saying, let's forget about what happened with COVID. Let's figure out what's happening with our economy, and let's try to make some money from this. So Yusuf says, SAR 100. I don't know what country that's from, but thank you very much. I want to worry about the media coverage. You have a good time, Johnny. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. We can do emojis. Petra Gustav gives me 100 rubles. Thank you very much. Спасибо большое. 100 рублей. Как дела? Я хорошо. Спасибо. Очень хорошо. It's so nice having people from Russia watching this and tipping. I mean, I really want to stress it that like Russian people and Ukrainian people love each other. They're families, they're cousins, right? Some of them are literal brothers and sisters, but most of them are related, somehow through a relative or through a cousin. Like nobody actually wants war to happen. And I don't think that even Putin wants war to happen. I think he has his demands, and that's a separate topic, whether, the NATO should accept it or not, or demands it or not, or the West should accept it or not, but that's a separate topic. But as far as if Russia's going to go to war with Ukraine, that I think is very, very unlikely. But obviously, it could happen, right? I mean, everything's in place for it to actually happen, and that's the scary part. So that's why I think a lot of people who are either scared or just trying to be prudent, they have already left, or they're thinking about leaving, because like why be here for it? But at the same time, if you leave or you don't go somewhere, every time there's potential of something bad happening, maybe you never go anywhere, right? A lot of people don't know this, but I was living in Thailand during the military coup, where on the US news, there were tanks in the street. And the US news was very similar to the news now, saying there is a military coup, they've taken over the streets, there's tanks, Thailand is doomed, Thailand is going to war. Oh, more ruble, Peter. Gustav, peace and love. I love Ukrainian people and people from there. My wife is from Ukraine. Thank you. Дякую. Спасибо большое. That just proves it. Like, people in Russia love Ukrainians, and they're married to each other, they're family. It's like, it's not the people, it's literally just a political play. All right? So, when I was in Thailand during, I don't remember what year it was now, maybe 2015 or so. Maybe someone could say in the comments. During the military coup, I mean, literally the government was taking over. They had taken over the airport, so there was no flights in and out for a while. 2014, thank you. There was tanks in the street, there was a military everywhere. The government was overthrown by the Thai military for a long time. And I remember at the time that I was living there, my life was very normal. I remember I would drive my motorbike into the old city, and I would see a tank once in a while, just parked there. And I remember I even went and took photos with them. Like, it wasn't dangerous at all. They just wanted to show their presence and that they are there just in case, right? Just in case, just like a show of force, a show of power. Alejandro, we need this video. Thank you so much. Like, I'm very happy I'm in a position where I can even show this. Because I think if I was living in the US and I was being brainwashed by the media and this hysterica, I would wish that somebody on the ground would show me what's actually happening, right? I mean, this is what's so cool about this platform of having YouTube Live, is being able to show you actually live. It's not 1 or 2 weeks behind like a normal video would be. And I can answer all your questions. Wow. Spasibo. Wow, the Russians are very generous today. Thank you very much. I don't know why that one's not showing up on top. But let me flip this. I'm gonna start walking the other direction because honestly, it is very cold out here. It's 0 degrees today. You can see most people are wearing their winter clothes. This is normal, don't worry about them. All right, so this is kind of normal life, right? It's all right. Julian lives 5 minutes from where I am. Hello, Julian. How are you? I think everyone, if they're not living 5 minutes away from here, they're here very often because it's very central area. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know Kiev, Kreshchatyk is the main street. It's become a touristy street, as you can probably see, but it is kind of the main street where everything is, right? And like up this street, for example, this is where a lot of like I don't know if it's the parliament, but it's like the government buildings are here. So a lot of people are like around this area. This is like a very main street, not just for shopping, but kind of like for everyday life as well. So if you guys have any questions, let me know now, because I think I'm gonna wrap this up pretty soon. I think like really what I wanted to show everyone was that life is going on normally. That yeah, some people are worried, but the people who watch English news, as in American or British or kind of Western news, are a lot more scared than people who are actually in Ukraine. I mean, one minor concern or possible concern is if something really was happening, the Ukrainian government wouldn't want their people to panic anyways. So, it could secretly happen. But in general, like the Western media has ulterior motives, and it could be as simple as the ratings have dropped because people are tired of hearing about COVID. It could be because the journalists are tired of talking about it. But it could be something bigger, right? It could be some cover-ups or, who knows? Daily stories from our world. I should play a football game and national team plays. Or visit it. Yeah, I was like, play. I was like, I can't play, but I can visit one. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the pounds, guys. All right. So, my advice to anyone is if you need to be in Ukraine for some reason, like actually need to be here, you have family here, you have a business here, you have, you're married or something, yeah, I would come back. Or I would just, but otherwise I would postpone my trip. I mean, it's cold anyways. I mean, there are people out, but it's not like the best time to be here, right? Like there's other places to go. Like I would go to like Sri Lanka or Thailand or somewhere right now. So, or somewhere warm, right? Tom Baker, greetings from Newcastle. Keep the good work, love the content. Stay safe. I'm sure nobody will want to mess with the Mongolian warlord. Thank you very much. Actually, some company called Bonfire sent me some shirts. They decided to take that picture of me wearing that fur hat and drinking like, what I don't remember what that was, in Lithuania, and then put it on a shirt. So I don't know when that's gonna go on sale, but it looks really cool. So keep an eye out for that. More ruble, Peter, как tov. Spasiba again. Еще раз спасибо. Are you able to visit Moscow? So many cool places here. You know what? I actually tried to get a Russian visa maybe 2 months ago. Bald invited me on the Trans-Siberian trip with them. I couldn't get a visa. It was mainly just because the offices are kind of closed right now, but they also just don't want to give anyone visas right now. And if I was going to get a visa, it'd be like a 30-day visa and with a ton of paperwork, so it wouldn't have been worth it. But my plan, I mean, for years now, I've been wanting to go. And actually, as Americans, normally during the normal times, well, it's funny, I saw these guys kind of fighting, but I think they're just messing with each other. It was scary though, because I was like, dude, this guy's wearing like a ski mask. But yeah, during normal times, Americans can apply for a 3-year visa to Russia for the same price as a single entry visa. We can get a 3-year visa. So if that was the case, I would absolutely get a Russian visa, regardless of how much paperwork there is, and I would go. That's not going to happen until they change their policies, and I actually probably have to be back in the US to get it. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go anytime soon, but it is on my list of things to do. I would love to do Trans-Siberian. I would love to visit all the regions of Russia, especially after my Russian gets a little bit better. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. With love from Kiev. If you have any last minute kind of questions or shout outs, feel free to leave it here. But I hope that you guys got a lot of value from this. I hope everyone got to see what Kiev is actually like, what Ukraine is really like. If you have any friends or family who are freaked out about what's happening, share this video with them, because this is this is definitely the most up-to-date information, at least because it's live. And again, I want to say I don't have all the answers, but neither does the US news channels or the US government. So anyone who says 100% this is what's happening, they're full of shit. You know, we all have our ideas or our sources, but nobody knows exactly what's going to happen, right? Even Putin doesn't know 100%, because it also depends on how the West reacts, right? But I will say that in my situation, I'm very happy to be here. I wish the world wasn't like this right now. I wish this wasn't happening, but I'm glad I came back. And I'm glad that, you know, overall everything's safe, everyone's okay. Art Urbana, the Midtown podcast, thank you so much, from Sacramento, 916. Moving to Kiev once it settles down. I don't know when that'll be, but hopefully it'll be soon. I mean, it is crazy that people keep saying, like, oh yeah, it's gonna, you know, the attack's gonna happen for sure, you know, first week of January. Then they said, okay, no, for sure it's gonna be January 15th. And then they said, okay, for sure it's gonna be March 3rd. So that keeps getting pushed back. I mean, obviously nothing's happened. But, you know, stay safe wherever you guys are out there. Keep living your best lives. I'm gonna use these donations that you gave me and go have a nice hot pot of tea right now, and some maybe some cake as well, because I think I burned like 500 calories just walking around in the snow, freezing cold. I don't know how you guys handle it. So, again, thank you so much for all the comments, for all the love, for all the likes, for all the donations, and thanks for watching. If you guys want more of these live streams, let me know, and let me know what topics you would want. So, with love from Ukraine, Дякую, спасибо большое, до свидания, guys. All right, bye for real. See you guys.